All right, so we are live. I'm going to go ahead and as everyone's coming in, I'm going to start our video and tell you a little bit more about who we are and why we're here live today. Here we go. Thank you for joining us. I may look like an avatar at some point. My lighting is a little off. We are just coming out of our tech rehearsal. So we are so excited about this production and bringing The Tenant live to the virtual stage this Mother's Day weekend. So I'm here with some of my favorite people. I have the cast. I have my production assistant. Pamela Morgan cannot be with us tonight. She was just with us at rehearsal, and she's finishing up some pieces for us to move this live on the stage. So make sure you purchase your tickets. You can do so at thismomentproductions.org and visit our website to make sure you get the live tickets, or we'll be streaming after this weekend. So it gives you 2 weeks to catch this show. So I wanted to introduce everyone to you. They've been working so hard for months on this production. I want to start off with our production assistant. If you can introduce yourself and maybe tell us a little bit about what your favorite part of working on The Tenant has been.
Hello, I am Neisha. My favorite part of working on, I'm the production assistant. My favorite part of working on the show has been seeing the cast evolve. They've been very adaptive and great, and progressing at a very fast pace. So professional actors we have here, but yeah, that's my favorite part.
And what is the difference working on a virtual show from the tech component of it? What have you found to be the challenges? What don't people know watching the show about how it's produced?
Well, if anyone's have ever had, tech issues that can be mighty stressful. So I think that's like in any environment. So I think that's probably could be the most stressful is, making some things you can't control, like, Wi-Fi and things like that. So those get really frustrating and frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're going from StreamYard and streaming this over to On the Stage. So when our patrons purchase their tickets, they're going to see it on the Stage, but all the magic starts here on StreamYard. And all of the cues are pushed by Neisha and Pam. They have to take them on and off. And so it's a lot of timing. And we've been really rehearsing how to get those elements together to make it look very crisp. So yeah, it's been amazing. It's been a fun time, but it's also been stressful on the tech side. Thank you, Neisha. I'm going to put him on the hot seat. I have the tenant himself. We have Mr. Bob Kinsella. How has it been being in this virtual production?
Oh, I've loved the technical aspects. Yeah, right. The best part is playing with Mark and Kelly. It's the one scene that we have together is really a lot of fun. And although I wish I was on with Sid, because I admire what he's doing so well, but I do love watching him. So the thing I've enjoyed the most is my fellow cast.
Yeah. How is Ronald Deitch different than Bob?
Name the way, and it's yeah, definitely not me. He's a lot coarser than I am. I would like to say. I would say that he's dishonest in a way that I would never be dishonest. And I'd like to think I'm a better actor than he is. Yeah, we're really fundamentally different people. But it's been fun to become someone completely not me.
Yeah.
Or try to anyway. Yeah.
It's been fun watching the transformation and you finding the character, and of course playing with all that blood, right?
Yeah, that's been so much fun.
That's your favorite part, I hear.
Oh yeah. My whole dining room is now sticky. Yes.
Yeah. So I think patrons are going to be surprised to see you play this character in such a way that we don't know who he is. We start to figure it out in some ways, but there's always a twist and a catch with Ronald. And I love watching it as an actor that's done community theater productions, and I love all of the side jokes about Harvey, about Dracula. You know, there's a lot of references to, it's self-referential, and I think a lot of our actor friends are gonna get a kick out of that, and seeing you do some classic lines from some shows too. That's kind of fun. Yeah, and of course you and your boxers. So there's that, right?
Yeah, that was new. I've never been on stage in my underwear before.
So everyone buy a ticket because you want to see Bob in his underwear. I mean, that's what we're promoting here. Shamelessly promoting. Now that we've thoroughly embarrassed one of our precious leads, I want to chat with Mr. Amar Robinson, who,
hey there.
I have to tell you, I've told you this, like the moment we saw your audition tape, we were like, yes, this is Ted Harling. I mean, you just really brought such believability and authenticity to this role. What was your favorite part being a part of the Tenant?
Well, Dana, I have so many favorite parts, and I'm not just saying that because the playwright is in the room here with us. But
I can't uncast you at this point, Mark.
You know, I think there's several twists and surprises in this show, but I really love the last twist because that's in some ways so much of it is unspoken, and it's been fun to sort of find a way to deliver that.
Yeah, and that was something that you shared some of your reflections on that last scene, and it was actually something I decided to do some rewrites and incorporate your ideas there. And then once we did that, we were all happy with it, and then we're like, how do we play this now? We've changed the whole rhythm. So we had to go back and really rehearse that once things were pretty set in motion. Yeah. So I love how, you know, the show evolved in that way. And it's important, I always think, for actors to have input, because this is a creative collaboration that we're.
Yeah. Who's really giving who notes together now, Dana?
I look forward to all of those emails after rehearsal.
No, but it's a world premiere, right? So of course we're developing it.
Right, and exactly, and you know, we wanted to get it right because this show's going to be in the Rogue Festival in New York City. So we really wanted to get this production done right. And for those that are watching that don't maybe have some familiarity with virtual theater, these actors are off book. They've been rehearsing for months. I mean, this is a true full out production. And it's so good that they got picked up at another festival. So just kudos to this cast of professional actors here that have really brought the talent. And Mark, speaking of professional actors, you also do your own sound effects. So I really want to highlight that because I know that that's been a new undertaking for you. Can you
It's
give us
completely organic, I'll tell you that.
Can you give us a sampling? Do you have ability to?
Let me just lean over here.
Sounds like it was Taco Tuesday over there.
It never gets old. It literally never gets old.
Until the batteries die, yeah.
Yeah.
Funny.
And that's one thing about StreamYard is a limitation that unless you're on the stream, we can't hear. So there's not an ability for someone to do the audio for the actor. So Mark is doing audio for Ronald. So Ted is doing the sound effects for Ronald and his gas and all of that kind of funniness. So it's just so much fun that the actors have taken on even sound effects. So it's kind of fun, except for Mark's family who has to listen to him do all of these sound effects in his rehearsal process. Outside of that, but yeah.
My wife is taking a nap in the other room right now, so I'm sure she really loved that last bit.
Sorry.
Although I'm in an alternative universe here. I'm in the Harling's kitchen, so maybe she can't hear anything.
Maybe she can.
Exactly. And it's a fancy kitchen opposed to where the Harlings come from. So that's, the virtual backdrops really kind of add to that because obviously we can't change sets. So when you purchase your tickets, also give my actors a break in that they are doing full costume changes, background changes, their own audio, so if there is any delay, just know that is the beauty of virtual theater is that sometimes we have to be a little patient with those things. But it's been running really smooth. So I appreciate all of your hard work, Mark. I'm going to hop over to your counterpart here, your on-stage wife, Diane Harling, also our wonderful Kelly. Kelly's been in a few productions with us, so you might recognize her face. She's probably one of the most consistent actors I've ever seen. We had a part that we had to record for the on-demand portion of this, and we had to dub over her voice, and she dubbed it over perfectly. So she was her own voiceover, which is another thing for her resume. So Kelly, tell us how it's been for you working on the Tenant and any favorite parts you may have.
It's been tons of fun. One of my favorite things in general about doing virtual theater has been the opportunity to meet so many more incredible talented people that I never would have been able to work with in the before times, So I think that's one of the great opportunities of virtual theater. And everyone in this cast is so fun and friendly. So it's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that piece that virtual theater can bring us all together. Kelly's in Chicago, Mark is in California, Sid Ross is in New York, and Ronald Deitch, our Robert Kinsella, he's in a beautiful southern Illinois. And Neisha is also kind of in the southern part of Illinois as well, and I'm in Chicago. So we're representing the coast, we're kind of all over the place. And, it's nice for all of us to kind of pull together and be able to deliver this. And, casting, I get to have my Kelly and I get to have my Mark and my Sid and, my Ronald, my Rob, my Bob, because without that, on the stage, you're kind of limited to who can make it to those auditions, but we've really been able to expand that, and that's one of the things we love about the equity. Kelly, how does it feel to be in another virtual production? Is this kind of like becoming a niche for yours? Because you've been on other virtual stages too recently.
I have, yes. I've been lucky enough to be cast in other virtual shows. It's definitely the thing to be doing now, and probably I think we'll be around for a lot longer. But it's been great. I've been having a good time.
Yeah, and you get to deliver I think people see on some of our flyers and such on social media, our posts, the line "Holy freaking Tony."
Yeah.
She gets to say that a few times. Is that a line that you were familiar with before doing The Tenant? Something that you've heard before?
Oh, like St. Anthony in general?
Yeah.
Or yeah. Oh, yeah. I grew up Catholic. I've definitely been told to pray to St. Anthony before when I lost something important.
So you've been a part of that, praying to St. Anthony when you lose something. My Polish mother, that comes from her. She's always praying to St. Anthony. So that's one of the iconic lines of the show. Is there any particular moment that's your favorite?
I mean, the whole show is so much fun, but I do love the arguing over pizza scene with Ted. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and one of our sponsors, Grisano's Pizza on the south side of Chicago, is sponsoring us. So we get, to also reference, Chicago-style pizza, which is the best. Sorry, Sid, but it is.
Don't start a fight now. It's opening week.
We won't fight yet.
You won't be able to convince me. You can say what you want. I'm hardcore. You don't know.
No, Dana, it's yes and.
Yes, and.
Thank you.
You're correct. You're
Looking
correct.
like a true journalist. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kelly, for lending your talents again to This Moment Productions. And side note, she's in a production. I think you're in mine, right? You're in my
Yes.
you're in my virtual production, my one act productions that we're gonna run on our YouTube channel. So I get to work with Kelly again, which is awesome. I always look forward to it. So yes, if you're in the Kelly fan club, you don't want to miss her. She is really something. Really, really something. Speaking of someone who's really, really something, this guy right here. Who's this guy? We have a little Sid Ross here who plays our Elliot McAllister. He's currently in his real estate office as we speak.
Right.
How was it playing Elliot? How did you feel?
It was delicious. It was terrific. I noticed that. So when you did the introduction and you said this is about a couple who brings in a tenant and things go wrong, no mention, I just want to say, of the realtor that sold them the house. I play that realtor, and it was just a delicious time for me because I don't really believe I'm that man. Although my father was a salesman, and I got to use a lot of the stuff that he used when going on calls to close the sale and to be just a little on the smarmy side. I'm not saying my father was like that, but I got to use that, double it, and so I had a great time doing it.
Yeah. Elliot, he meets the Harlings. He convinces them to purchase this home, even though there's a tenant that they never get to meet. And I know that sounds outrageous, but that's actually based on a real life situation. When I was looking for a home we were considering came with a tenant, and we could meet the tenant, unlike the Harlings did not meet Ronald. But you could not end their lease agreement. They were going to stay with you until the end of their lease agreement. So it was kind of an interesting thing. And from there, I just thought all the fantastical things that this person could be doing in the lower level. And I love how the agent always calls the basement the lower level. So fancy.
Yeah.
So I loved getting to say that real estate jargon. You know, then you are free to move about the lower level. I mean, that's perfect. I mean, to my ear, that's perfect. And I got to say it. And I think I did this because that's how I always heard realtors do it. And now you're free to move about all you kids are going to just love this place. Right. I mean, so I got to indulge myself a little bit. I don't usually get these kind of roles. I'm usually the warm dad or a psychiatrist. I know you're doing a show with a psychiatrist. I immediately thought of myself because I'm given those roles a lot. Wonder why? Glasses, Jewish. I don't know what that, but I don't know what they're thinking of. But middle-aged, white hair, so there's a kind of connection.
But how do you feel about that?
Very professional.
Exactly.
And when I met Sid, I decided to go back to the script before giving it to the cast and write Sid's part larger, because initially, basically, Sid was going to be a transitional character to help the actors get ready for the next scene. He'd have a little bit, the actors would change, and then I met Sid and I started writing that night, and I was like, I need more. So one of my favorite things I think I've ever written is your monologue about don't get me started on these home buying channels. I think that's one of my favorite.
I was so flattered, Dana, that you told me that. But at the same time, I was like, you remember we had this conversation? I'm sorry, I can't memorize these lines. I don't have enough time. You're asking me to do this in 2 weeks. And then you gave me another monologue. I'm like, what did you? So I was really happy, but like I had to be a professional actor and memorize a lot more lines now. Because we were talking about how much we love virtual theater. That's why I love virtual theater, because I have mastered having the script in the upper right. Nobody's told me that they can tell, and I don't have to memorize lines because when we're live, and that was always terrible for me. But no, I'm completely off book, Bob. I'm completely off book. Believe me, I'm the opposite. Yeah. I'm the opposite of Elliot. I am. My wife will come in here. She'll tell you I'm Mr. Ethical. So when Dana said you have to be off book, it's like I cannot lie to Dana. Pamela will hurt me. So awesome. I'm going to be off book.
And
William, I'm sorry. William Christopher used to say that MASH was about a priest in Korea. So this is all just about a realtor in Chicago.
Exactly. It just matters the lens that you're looking. We're all protagonists if we look through that lens. So, and each one of you literally steals the show. And that's amazing. We feel Kelly, when she's really, sold on this American dream, that this house is everything to her. It's a stable environment and she needs this. And Mark is concerned about the finances and making sure that he can substantiate this purchase. And they want to start a life together. Like so many people, have this dream. And the reality is it can be a struggle. And then you add in the tenant. Where's my tenant? You're in my lower corner here. And you never know what's going to happen, right? The stakes are high when you've invested so much into this, not only financially, but emotionally for this young couple. And so it just makes us really, I feel voyeuristic watching it because it feels so real. Right now, you're both in the same kitchen, and I'm just like, I want to watch that. I want to see more of that.
Hi, honey.
I believe it. I believe what y'all are selling on this one. This has been such a dream come true working with this cast and being able to do my first full-length virtual comedy with you and bringing this to life. I really hope that it serves as an example of what we can do with virtual theater and the quality and the professionalism that goes into it is just amazing, especially working with these actors that really brought this to life. We use the camera in different ways, we use technology in different ways, and we cannot wait to show you what we've done here. So on that note, because we have had a long rehearsal, I say we, I did not rehearse. I watched to make sure rehearsal was going well. So I will not put myself in there. Neisha and the cast had a long rehearsal.
I don't want to give away too many plot elements, but I have one thing to say to my landlords. With what I'm paying you in rent, you should be thanking me for stealing your cable.
We all know that the cable companies are the real criminals. One of my favorite lines of the show. Another great line that Mark delivers is, you can't trust actors. And I think this is a great example. You cannot trust us because you never know what we're going to deliver. So we thank you all for watching us live meet the cast. We will hopefully be able to do this again very soon, but we are moving towards opening weekend, which is this Friday. So we have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday and Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and Sunday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can purchase tickets by going to thismomentproductions.org, and we'll have a link right on the stage. It's wonderful. I can't wait for you to see it. And if you're on the fence, you need to see this one. I know there's a lot of virtual theater out there these days. This is not that. It's something a little different. So come out and see us and support the arts. And on that note, I'm going to take us out with a little exit video. I almost hit Ronald's monologue video. That would have been a little sneak peek. All of our cues are loaded, so I don't want to hit those. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you this weekend. We'll see you virtually.
Thank you for everything.